Hey guys, and welcome to the new episode of Automated Seller Podcast. Today I have a new guest, Klaidas. Hi Klaidas, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, Jakob?
I'm good, thank you. So me and Klaidas, we've met actually in Vilnius on an Amazon conference. I know, Klaidas, that you are running the Amazon agency called AMZ Bees, that you are a CEO and founder. But before we jump to actually Amazon Bees and what you guys are offering, what are your services, I would love to hear first about your story before that. How did you actually started this company? What's your past? What's your experience with e-commerce overall?
Yeah. First of all, thank you for having me. It's always great to speak at podcasts. I started working with Amazon or e-commerce about 8 years ago. Technically
But how
speaking,
old are you actually?
I'm 24. So
24.
technically speaking, I've been doing what my team is doing now for a third of my life.
Wow.
Uh, so if you look at relevancy, so I started this when I was still a teenager. My parents they owned a party shop chain here in Lithuania, the biggest one, and they created a new company. They created a new brand, and they started manufacturing their own very specific, unique product with at that time 400 SKUs, and they needed somebody to kind of launch it into the broader waters somewhere else, not just in Lithuania, because we are
Yeah.
a country of 3 million people and it's a very small country. So they launched it on Amazon, and as you know, most of you as sellers know that it's a marketplace that requires a lot of attention, especially with 400 SKUs. They hired me. They promoted me to e-commerce manager of department of one, and I started managing their store, uploading listings, adjusting everything, advertising, uploaded everything to eBay, Etsy, kind of
So you
created
are
the
actually
fundamentals there.
from day one also putting those products on different marketplaces,
Yeah,
not only
yeah,
Amazon. Hmm.
yeah. So it's eBay, Etsy, but Amazon always was the biggest one, and we focused on it mainly. And eventually, we kind of left the other markets to kind of
But you were
trot
selling
because
actually outside of Lithuania, right? Or Amazon was
yeah.
there from day one?
Uh, for my parents' company, the one that we were selling on Amazon, that's the from not from day one, because it took 2 years to develop the products and everything,
Yeah.
and it's a they are a manufacturer. They're selling their branded products to Australia, to Japan,
Hmm.
to Canada, America, all around the globe, and Amazon is just one of the channels, a big one at this point, but it was one of the channels. So I grew that brand to seven figures in a couple of years. Learned my own fundamentals, understood how everything works. Unfortunately, didn't have enough money to buy courses because at that time it was only $5,000 for a course, and
Oh wow.
it's definitely a lot of money, not for my salary at that time. So I had to learn everything myself, and in it took me a long time, but I managed it. And after school, I joined the military. We have the voluntary 9 month service here in Lithuania.
Hmm.
While in military, I
You
was
mean after
still
school? That was after high school, right? Before
after high
uni.
school. Yeah, after high school, I joined the military for 9 months of training, got my specialization, and even during that time, I was still working with Amazon.
Wow. Were you actually allowed to do so? Like,
So we're allowed to have our phones. So what I did, I left my computer at my parents' house running 24/7, and I just logged in through like TeamViewer and other
yeah.
programs from my phone on free time,
Wow.
and ran the business just from my
That's a
phone.
full dedication. I mean, it's super tough to do it,
Yeah,
right? Like the icons
exactly.
are
It
so
was
small, everything.
yeah, it was a challenge. But after that, after military, I started university. Unfortunately, that uh, kind of part of my life was very short. I only studied
Hmm.
for 1 semester.
What did you
Uh,
start to study?
Informatics, computer
So like
science,
computer
programming.
science.
programming, mathematical
Yeah. Same
analysis.
as me
And there you go.
actually.
It's
I also
the best one.
started. Yeah.
You can get good fundamentals from there. And basically, my thought was when I was, a bit younger, when I was 19 years old after military, is you cannot be just a student, right? You have to be a student and like you need to do something
Mhm.
else. So whether you're in the
Work aside,
student
yeah.
council, whether you work something,
Okay.
for me, Amazon, working at my parents' company, I didn't get a high salary. It's was basically just to help my family business, right? And on the first month of my studies on September, and the September 23rd, I spoke at one of the largest meetups to date in Lithuania. And basically, I spoke about the technical aspects, so like what I did to grow that brand to seven figures. I think at that point it was multiple seven figures.
Mhm.
What did I do to grow that brand, and people liked it, and slowly began my consultant service provider career, if we can say that. Uh, Started consulting,
While
started
you were a
helping.
student also,
Yeah,
right?
I was in university sitting in mathematical analysis class,
Yeah.
and I was creating A plus contents and uploading listings and fixing technical issues, catalog issues, and
That's awesome. I love it.
managing advertising, and slowly it grew into an agency. I
Mhm.
started getting started creating offers and getting clients for full management, not just
Mhm.
weekly or monthly advertising optimizations, things like that. And as I didn't have enough time for work, and it was already paying off quite well because the results came quite quickly.
Mhm.
Because, well, people here in Lithuania, they didn't have that much of a choice with who to work with. So in the beginning, I worked a lot on, well, hundreds of different projects,
Mhm.
even on the short term. But when I work on a project for even a longer period of time, every single time where it had the potential, we reached very good results. So very early on, I built great case studies.
Mhm. You mean
And
project is like a client coming to you with some products and you help him or her
whether
scale?
whether it's whether it's consulting, right, on how to run their advertising, whether it was fixing their SEO or fixing their metadata issues, which were the
Mhm.
main issues, and that helped them grow their sales, whether it was weekly or monthly advertising management to grow the brand, because most of the sellers here in Lithuania, uh, they're manufacturers. They upload their products and they expect things to happen. So when I applied the knowledge that I learned myself from the past few years, it quickly helped me gather solid case studies. And since it's a small country, everybody likes a young face, a new face in the media. I started speaking in various business events, started speaking in like sales formula, e-commerce events about Amazon. And my main
Actually,
mission and my
here,
main
how,
goal,
because
yeah.
this is also like my next question since you started
Sorry.
talking about that, right? Like, but no, it's a perfect transition. So you said that you started speaking all of those conferences, right? And that's also how I noticed, just checking by some other conferences that I will be flying to, or I checked in the past. I saw your face actually, and I really wonder how did it happen, right? Because you say, yeah, so I just started helping people, and then right away you are just a speaker on a worldwide conferences. So how this transition happened, right? Did you apply, or did you got to know like the owner
Mhm.
of the, or like the founder of the conference? How did it happen?
So I can honestly say I have never applied to any conference or a podcast per se. Um, I know that you can definitely apply, like to go to Prosper and speak there. You can
Yeah.
apply to a lot of conferences. Um, for me, this wasn't the main way to get clients. Um, I believe like in the beginning, my issue wasn't that I didn't have enough clients. My issue was I didn't have enough time, or I was working on too small of a project. At this moment, for example, I only rarely consult, and I only consult in cases where I see interest, just because most of my time is going into running the agency with dozens of brands. Um, but I actually began speaking in Lithuania very early on, only after a couple of months since I kind of appeared in the media. Uh, Different event organizers, they wanted to kind of teach people about e-commerce, right? And let's say they organize an event about Amazon, eBay, and Etsy, right? And they need 3 speakers. So they invite myself, they invite somebody else for Etsy, they invite somebody else for eBay, and I would speak for an hour. At one event, Business Start, that was, I believe, their name. Initially I was speaking like for half an hour, and at one point they were like, okay, so there's too much interest. We want to have more of you. So there was a couple events where I spoke for 3-4 hours just about like, what we're doing to grow businesses on Amazon. And it did see quite a lot of success. It saw good media coverage. And
that's how you probably also got a lot of clients from, right? I mean, since you were
not
like
necessarily. It's more, the conferences are more top funnel marketing, if so to say. My goal was not necessarily to get clients, because I built good case studies and good clients early on. And my goal is to educate the public, because I'm looking 10 years into the future. And if I want to grow my business, like I'm growing my business worldwide, but if I want to have good quality clients from Lithuania, if I want to have good talent here from Lithuania, I have to work on the market. So I started writing articles on some of the biggest news media in the country on how to sell on Amazon, what things kind of could interest the general public, the manufacturers, to begin looking into this niche. I began writing a lot of posts, technical posts, actionable posts on what we're doing when managing Amazon accounts on our Facebook group. I very quickly took over that group as an admin and developed the community. We organized meetups. And so a lot of it kind of just pulled together, and people started noticing in Lithuania the popularity of Amazon in Lithuania since 2018. It grew quite rapidly. And I do think that a lot of it was due to my efforts to kind of engage that community and educate it. I even launched several Amazon courses in Lithuanian. They were quite, relatively speaking, cheaply priced compared to some of the international courses, because my goal, again, it wasn't to make as much money as possible from this market. My goal was to educate the market, educate the public. Right now, those courses are free. And manufacturers, when they hire a new person to work on their Amazon business, they give them my course to watch. That person watches the course, learns, and works on that brand. So it was more helping educate the Lithuania public. And in the meantime, while I was trying to give as much as possible, obviously, some of it came back as clients, some of it came back as, I was on TV, I was on radio, multiple radio stations, awesome. all over the media, newspapers, etc. But it's all fancy PR. It's it's just marketing, and even though I didn't pay for any of it, it naturally happens when people are interested in the topic. And slowly it kind of gave more clients and understanding about the markets of Amazon itself.
Definitely, like creating like a free value and educate people. Like it's just great, because you provide a lot of value. It's a nice case study. Also, people trust you, and that's probably how you also got invited more and more to the conferences. So this all like really accumulate this really nice snowball effect eventually, and lead to the position where you're right now with AMZ Bees. That we'll jump in a moment. But before, I just wanted to ask you one more question, since you are 24. I just turned 25. So
congratulations.
I think I have very similar story to you, because I also started computer science, like studying. I'm actually still a student. I haven't finished. I just didn't drop out. But with my agency, I mean, it's a tech agency, also related to like Amazon, but we just build software tools. But yeah, basically I learned to code, and then at some point I stopped to code. Now I'm fully into managing the team, doing actually growth techniques, acquiring new clients. And I really wonder, how is your story with programming? Did you actually have a chance to start at all? Or
no. So I was going to additional programming classes like outside of school, to other schools when I was in high school. So I know how to program in multiple different languages, but I never actually worked on any real project with
Okay.
that. It started as quickly as it began, just because Amazon took over my life. Because programming was always the plan A and Amazon was the
Yeah.
plan B. And very quickly, Amazon became plan A.
Sure. So eventually you also drop out from university, right?
Yeah, it was after the first semester,
Oh,
after
wow.
2 failed exams, because I simply didn't have the time to even
Yeah.
study. I was literally working all the time, day and night, on Amazon. I was sitting in a 3-hour mathematical analysis lecture. I was sitting there and thinking, what more ROI, what more ROI friendly activity could I do, compared to sitting in this class? Because I'm sitting
Yeah.
there writing absolutely every single thing that the professor writes on the board, and in my head is like, I'm already making double or triple what I could in this profession after I finish university.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is this really the right path for me? When my clients were asking for more time, my clients were asking for, can I work on their brand for a bit more? Can I kind of take on this project? And I found myself saying no more often than yes, even though I still had this chunk of time that I'm dedicated to university life, to my,
Yeah.
dorm mates and stuff like that, the whole vibe. And it just didn't make sense.
Totally. I fully understand. I mean, this is also how it kind of happened to me, right? That at some point I just stopped really participating into the lectures and everything since I started freelancing, had a part-time job. So it was all around about programming back then.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started agency since I had so many like as a freelancer, I had so many clients. So I started also hiring and dedicated this to other team members. So basically, I also did this calculation in my head. It's like, okay, but so why would I even finish the uni, right? To get the paper, to apply to some job, but
To
I
get
already
hired.
have a client, right? I already have a client, so I don't need it. I'm already coding. So, and I'm learning a lot while doing it, right? So I
People
fully
people
understand.
say people say that those who cannot finish their degree, they create a job for themselves.
No, I mean, yeah, that's a good one. So I fully agree. So that's actually crazy story. Since you actually were studying really also, I would say high payly. I mean, you could land like a very high payly job, right? But then you took a risk and you actually decided to go into the agency world and start AMZ Bees. So now let's talk about AMZ Bees.
Hmm?
First of all, if you could introduce it, I mean, already you said that it's Amazon agency, right? You're serving clients from all around the world. However, is it actually that you scale brands more from Lithuania or Europe to US, or the other way around, or how is it?
Uh, we work on a lot of different situations. We do have clients from Lithuania, but majority of our clients right now, they're from US, Germany, UK, etc., Canada,
I see.
Germany. Well, not Germany, Norway, Sweden, just all around. Um, we do full account management, right? The growing, the scaling, the marketing, the advertising, pretty much everything that's needed. Most of our clients, they are manufacturers, they are retailers, they have their brands, they sell in retail, they want to go to Amazon, or they sell in retail and they sell on Amazon, right? Most of our clients, for most of our clients, Amazon is one of the channels. And in a lot of cases, it doesn't make sense to hire and train and maintain an entire team to work on the Amazon business. So that's where we come in with our expertise of years and millions of dollars spent on advertising, hundreds of millions of dollars revenue kind of created from nothing on Amazon. That's where we come in. So we're technically the team people hire to grow their brand to its full potential, whether it's expanding from US to Europe, whether it's from Europe to US, whether it's strictly growing on the US market. This is what we do. And one of more interesting cases is in 2020, I started working with a brand. And they were doing $50,000 a month on Amazon, but it's
Mm-hmm.
a real world brand. It's not Amazon brand, right? It's a product that's invented, patented, and brought to the market for people to enjoy. And last year we did $30 million in
Oh
revenue
wow,
with 38% profit.
it's
Right, and
crazy.
it's still the same brand, it's still the same product. Still, like
And
there are
what
more variations of that product, but still the same product.
and what was the secret actually to such a success to
Oh, no
helping this
secret.
brand?
Just everything was done by the book and the way it should be done. Like, and the product had the potential to get to the best sellers of the main category, because you build the fundamentals right, you have the right product, you have the right backing, because a lot of the cases, when we fail because there wasn't the right backing from our partners, or there wasn't enough product, there wasn't enough capital, the product didn't work well, etc., right? That's the main reasons that, or it's too competitive on Amazon and we don't have the money to compete.
Yeah.
So everything
And
fits
exactly,
well together.
Speaking of what you said, right? It's more competitive, and then there are certain budgets to actually help brands scale. What do you think? If you actually go back those years in Amazon, right? How did it change when it comes to being like? Is it more competitive right now? Is it much harder right now to scale the brand? When the brands comes to you, do they require more budgets than previously? How did you actually see this whole process of changing of Amazon over last years?
It's hard to say, from the point that generally the clients that we accept to the agency now, they generally are they have more capital, right? They are in a lot better place than clients that we would have accepted, let's say 2-3 years ago. But overall, even for current clients, when we launch new brands, we find that it is more expensive. It is harder to launch with smaller budgets. If the product isn't perfect, and the infographics, the visuals, the premium A+ content, if everything isn't done exactly right, the advertising costs are crazy. Okay. Where we can afford it, the way we launch a new product now, we invest $20,000 into a new product launch. Like the content, everything, plus advertising, basically going into negative until we generate money. In products that are specifically like for Q4, we launch in the beginning of summer, and every single month we invest $1,000 or $2,000 into the negative, right? So the advertising cost, it's more than even the product generally returns. We're focusing on ranking and pushing the product as hard as possible through all the different channels until Q4 comes, and that's when we make the money back, plus get the additional boost. So the brands that have more money, they are able to continuously invest the money into a new product, competing with new sellers, right? And not even make any money, because they have the capital to allow them to push away other new sellers and get in the rankings with the big boys. So the way we see Amazon now, it's, in 2015, 2016, it was like a children's sandbox, and everybody's playing with their small little fancy trucks, and a bigger kid might come in with his bigger trucks, or a smaller kid comes in with his smaller trucks. 2023, 2024, it's like a huge crater of those massive machines with
and also
massive
now,
tractors, right? It's huge difference.
Definitely. Also now I think it's super competitive because of all the software around that. I mean, especially all of the reprices. It's crazy. I mean, we've built some reprices in the past, but like very simple ones. And now when I see the market, all of the
it's a lot more complex.
Like the software as solutions which are there with the AI, with everything, it's crazy. Really, I've seen crazy rules of repricing. Also, seasonality. Now I can recognize that, so it will reprice the item differently. Also, to, for example, last time I think I saw one repricer that what it does is it reprice item a little bit higher, so it allows competitor items to be sold as fast as possible, and then I think they change the price, they put the stock, and they sell much more. So I know there are a lot of different reprices. So speaking of this, I think it's also like much more competitive than in the past.
I mean, nonetheless, like it's still possible to launch a new brand with technically comparatively smaller budgets. It's just harder to find the niche that isn't yet fully properly filled, and there are still dozens of those niches. But it's
so
more
actually when client comes to you, because you said there's a manufacturers that already have products and they would love to put them to Amazon. So I can see that sometimes it might be not possible, right, with their budget, since they already have products and they want to put them. And last time I had Brandon Young here from Seller Systems, and he told me, because I asked him, what do you think that, like, I'm thinking about one product. Actually, this will be like hardware with a software product that counts Amazon orders. And what do you think if I put it to Amazon? And he actually said very nice thing, that what I should do is I should put it like on Shopify store and just promote it, for example, on YouTube, like through the ads and so on. That I shouldn't put it to Amazon, because Amazon works the other way around. It's not you putting product there. It's more like you find the demand, so you do all of the research and then you launch the product, right? So I really wonder what's the situation with the clients then. If they go, they don't have enough budget and they want to enter on Amazon Marketplace in a very competitive niche, what do you do?
So this might not come as a shocking surprise, but we say no more often than we say yes, right?
Okay.
For 100 potential clients that come to us, we usually say no to like 85, 90 of them.
Oh, wow.
Because it just doesn't fit the Amazon model. In some cases, it doesn't make sense to invest the money into that product on Amazon. Yeah, Shopify might be an option, or just not going there might be also a good option. We often receive gifts, bottles of wine, champagne, and things like that to the office when somebody from our team helps our client make a decision not to invest tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars just because it doesn't make sense. Because our goal is to create the partnerships and brands that work long term. We don't take on projects for 3, 4, even 6 months. We work with clients for years, for 5 years, for 6 years, 8 years, etc. And that's our plan. So with that in mind, that's how we select who we accept into the agency, who we partner with, and who we begin working with. Because if there's no product market fit, or if there's no brand market fit, right? We don't have enough capital. The competition is too fierce. Our product doesn't have enough UPCs. It's just, it's a waste of clients' money. It's a waste of our time and resources, because we still have to choose who we work with. We are not a 500 people agency with unlimited capacity. We do have a limited capacity, and that's how I like to keep my agency lean and thin. But it helps us where it fits, where the model fits, where we can create win-win-win situations. The results speak for themselves. So more often than not, we say no. And speaking of Brandon Young, like, we do use the data dive, his software, to help identify whether it is a good fit or not.
Exactly. I wanted to actually ask about the process. So how is it when the new client approach you and they actually want to start collaborating with you, right? So you said that you have the software data dive to actually first check if there's even a potential, or how does it work?
So, well, first we jump on a call and learn everything, obviously. And then if they're not yet selling on Amazon, that's exactly how it goes, right? We do the market analysis. We work with data dive, Helium 10, overall look into the market itself, look at the cost per clicks, look at the, all this branded searches, etc. What's in the market? We create our internal audits. We look at the market and see, right, okay, what would we actually take to conquer this market? And does our potential partner have that? If they have that, that's awesome. We talk through those points and we move on. If they don't have that, we either try to solve it, explain the risks to them. In some cases, we see, let's say 60, 70% chance of failure. And that's what we present to the potential partner. And we explain to them that majority of their investment can be burned just because the market is incredibly competitive and their product doesn't have that unique selling point. Very rarely we accept cases like this. So basically, it's a lot of market research analysis to make sure that the product does fit the market. There is a need for a specific product, or even if there isn't additional needs, the client's budget is enough. And not just budget. We're not talking just about money. We're also talking about human resources from their part. Can they deliver enough inventory? Do they have a creative enough marketing department to kind of work on the product? we're the ones who are creating the infographics, the visuals. We have our own creative directors for that, the copy, etc. But we still need input from our partners. So if they have everything that what it takes, there might make sense to take that risk, because if the client is a 100-year-old company with multi-million-dollar budgets, it's a lot different conversation than we have a small family-owned business that wants to begin with $50,000 or $20,000.
Yeah, totally. No, that's very interesting, and I really like it. Also, regarding different marketplaces, do you offer it right now? Do you also help sellers to scale on different marketplaces, or is it just Amazon?
Just Amazon. So for our agency clients, we work with Walmart as well, but we don't offer that service for others. It's just for when there's a need. But
so you have like a partner for Walmart, or?
Oh no, we manage it ourselves.
Oh, you do
one
that.
One of our senior account executives really wanted to learn Walmart, and we had that need from a couple of our bigger clients. So we kind of worked into that platform to help kind of our clients not hire another agency with the whole hassle and management. But my focus as the business person is just on Amazon. And it might come as a surprise, but we don't sell on Amazon ourselves. Like I've never sold on Amazon myself. And something I learned from my father is keep the focus and don't lose the main focus. Because
you mean you never sold on Walmart on your own
or Amazon?
But you help your family, right?
Yes, yeah, but it's not my business.
Okay.
It's not. I'm not a seller. I'm an account manager. Because what this mindset does, it helps, first of all, keep the focus on our clients, obviously, but more importantly, it helps us develop in the area we are already very good at and continue growing in that area, because our partners take over the seller side. They take over the sourcing, the product development. They take over the logistics side, the taxes, the VATs, the compliance side. We don't need to learn these things. So it's better for us to invest that time into advertising, into new things that Amazon is constantly changing, which is a lot of them. And with that focus, we're able to provide those exceptional results. If we were selling ourselves, what would happen? Or what does happen in other agencies? The team has more incentive to work and research their own brands rather than their partners. So
use the focus. I fully understand and agree. I mean, that's why we focused down and picked on Amazon and other marketplaces and developed software around that. Because before that, we are doing it so many industries, and it was just extremely hard to be an expert, not only in software, but also in the industry. So I really understand that.
Inch wide, mile deep.
Yeah. So now, as a CEO and a founder, I really wanted to ask you also about like a 5 or 10-year vision, like what's on your roadmap and for the AMZ Bees. So do you want to scale it further to different countries, or, as I said, maybe consider other marketplaces in the future, maybe to develop some software? I really wonder if this is, of course, not a secret.
So we do have our own vision. I'm not going to dive into the actual numbers of that. But we're going to be focusing on Amazon. Like, we're not going to Shopify. We're not going to other platforms. We're not going to begin Google advertising, just strictly Amazon, with Walmart as a side business to our clients. Continue focusing on the content, the copywriting, the design, the marketing. That area is also on us. We might expand our services for Amazon. We don't have plans to develop a software in our vision, mainly because I still keep on that point of focus. Because developing software, it's a whole new other area.
Oh yeah, it's a different company.
It's a whole different company. So the question is, are you a marketing agency, or are you a software agency? Like, what do you do? If you split your if you're splitting the focus, you either have to be very big, or you're just splitting your focus where you could be work on your clients. And there's definitely plenty of solutions in the end companies in the market that create softwares or already have great softwares that you can work with and incorporate into the system.
Perfect. Great. Thank you, Klaidas. That was really nice interview slash podcast that we had. Just one more last thing. If you could share with the audience where people can reach out to you with some questions and where people can find AMZ Bees.
Ideally, if you want to reach out to me, just follow me on LinkedIn, Klaidas Siuipys. We might have some links somewhere probably. So follow me on LinkedIn.
I'll put them also in the
Yeah,
description. So.
I post on LinkedIn quite often, multiple times a week. If you want to follow AMZ Bees, we post our team stuff on Instagram. And if you think you can become our client or partner, if you want to talk and scale your brand, go to our website, amzbees.com, fill in the application, and my team will reach out.
Awesome. Thank you, Klaidas. That was great to
Thank
have
you,
you
Jakob.
here.
Bye-bye.